Through the darkness of space I fly, beyond reach of the human eye. A date with an asteroid, a sample of history to read. Our knowledge is shall amplify.
Ooh.
OSIRIS-REx. All right, that was brought to you by the submission people at for OSIRIS-REx, the Asteroid Sample Return Mission, that successfully returned the first ever American or NASA sample for the asteroid to Earth this past Sunday, which is going to be our main topic of the day today. But first of all, I would like to say, who are we, or who am I, rather?
Yeah, what is this?
It's a disembodied voice wonders. All right. So enough with this music for now, shall we?
Yeah, fade to black.
Yes.
Or fade away, fade it out, whatever it is.
Fade out. Is that better?
I think it's
Okay.
fantastic. It's awesome. But what is this?
Right.
What are we watching here?
You're watching SG2 on Space, the only weekly space show. You can find us at youtube.com/action/streams. So that's typically the place you would go to find all sorts of things space related. We've been doing this show for the last 2.5 years now. So this is currently episode 191, talking about the OSIRIS-REx asteroid return. And the disembodied voice in the background, which should not be disembodied, is... Who is this guy?
Hello.
Who are you?
I am. Who am I?
Like,
I am.
Yeah, like who are you?
I'm Leonard Kramer.
There you go.
The
See?
Doctor of Love.
I'm sorry. I gotta change.
No. You don't need that. we already played that.
All right. Fine. So I'm still styling myself Rocky Man, and Leonard Kramer, the Doctor of Love. So to say, we do space only weekly space show. So before I go on, support the show on patreon.com/sg2 on space. Thank you to our past and present supporters, Kyle Baker, Sam Welsh, and lastly, my producer for last year, Lord Rob, Team Rob, who was extremely helpful. So I just keep the ticker going down there. Let's go on and talk about our main topic, since we're trying to keep to a schedule these days. So today, like I said, we're talking about OSIRIS-REx, in particular about asteroid return missions, and why we're doing this to start with, right? So let me ask you, Leonard, why is this so important?
Oh,
why are we even going to asteroids?
Well, we're bringing something back from space. I mean, it's a asteroid. It's a part of an asteroid. So anyway, we don't know very much about the history of the solar system. It's actually kind of mysterious about the solar system has a structure that is composed of like the sun in the middle, and then some planets around it. But not only that, there's these asteroids, and the asteroids are arranged. They're sort of organized in different. Well, it's asteroids and comets are kind of a similar kind of class, and then we also have a bunch of planets, and then we have some dwarf planets. So of which Pluto is one of them, and so we would like to know this. We know that solar systems form, and actually all matter in the universe forms from stellar explosions, which then throw matter, elements out into the environment, and then they coalesce and form new stars. So there's like a cycle that goes along with that. So we don't know very much about it. That's something that I've always been personally, I've always been interested in. And you've heard me say before that every place we go in the solar system, every planet we look at, we see something different. And so this is a mission to try to maybe unlock some of the secrets, get a pristine sample of it's one of the what they call stony asteroids. There's 3 types of asteroids, and
What are the 3 types of asteroids?
well, there are these asteroids that are made out of mostly silica and nickel, often, and those are the stony type of asteroids. There are metallic ones which are made out of iron and nickel primarily. They are probably the constituents of the same material that forms the cores of Earth and of some of the other planets. Like, probably, we really don't have any idea what the cores of other planets are like. But and then the last type is carbonaceous, which has a lot of carbon in it. And I believe that the asteroid that was visited by the the spacecraft that we're talking about tonight, it's called the asteroid is called Bennu. It's an Earth crossing asteroid. It's actually one of the higher risk ones because eventually, it has some probability of colliding with the Earth. I don't remember. I think it's about. I don't remember the size of it. It's something on the order of a
The
kilometer.
Bennu asteroid. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a carbonaceous asteroid, mostly made out of uh, carbon and other those
And
kinds
so
of.
they said that it's black. Actually, I misspoke earlier. I think did I say it was did I say it was a C type? It is a C type asteroid.
Yeah, it is a C
And
type.
and they actually went through a long process of selecting this one because they need one that's not rotating very quickly. Most asteroids are rotating pretty quickly. They wanted to be able to
Check
rendezvous.
this
Oh,
out.
and we're talking about OSIRIS-REx.
Rex visited this
Okay.
asteroid, right? Back in, look at this picture, or a series
Yeah.
of pictures that got turned into a video, I
Yeah.
guess, in December 2018.
So
That is so cool. Yeah.
OSIRIS-REx stands for Origins Spectral Interpretation Resource Identification Security-Regolith Explorer.
That's a mouthful.
The Origins Spectral Interpretation Resource Identification Security-Regolith Explorer. So they called it OSIRIS-REx. So that's kind of a reach, sort of a bit of a tortured acronym. But anyway, cool. It was launched in 2016, I think, in the fall of 2016, and I think it rendezvoused. Let me see. The information I have here is I think it rendezvoused with Bennu in 2017. No, 2 years later, 2018, and then it returned. It started coming back, and it returned its sample to Earth the other day, and it came down. They think that we haven't found out actually how much material that was collected. They wanted to get something like 60 grams, but they could get more, maybe less. And it has arrived at the Johnson Space Flight Center. Johnson Space Flight Center in
Why are
Houston.
we doing it at Johnson Space Flight Center here?
Well, why are they doing it there? Well, they have that's the place. They have a laboratory for curating materials like that. That's where the moon rocks are stored. What was that? You're playing? That wasn't me. I wasn't playing music, or maybe I'm hearing music.
I was trying to get a video up, but then it
Oh.
was playing that really annoying music. So I was
Okay.
like, no, it's much rather hear Leonard just talk about it.
Okay. So the mission. So the way the mission worked, it had solar panels on it. It had a very kind of like a number of conventional bipropellant thrusters that were used to navigate in space. It rendezvoused with comet Bennu. Bennu is an Earth-crossing asteroid. It probably had its origins in the asteroid belt. And we could, the structure of the solar system has various kinds of places for asteroids to collect, and it and so the spacecraft rendezvoused with and as I say, the mission objectives are to understand more about um, these solar system objects, because most of the solar system has sort of coalesced
Right.
into planets, and when the planets are orbiting around, they kind of sweep out their environment. So these things are leftovers. These objects are things that have not. Oh, there you can get a scale. You see there that
Yeah, it's like
The Eiffel Tower.
the Eiffel Tower is kind of bigger
Yeah.
than that.
So
It's actually fairly large.
if this asteroid were to hit the Earth, and we're in the neighborhood. I mean, it's in a kind of orbit that could someday, maybe hundreds of years from now, collide with the Earth. It would it would make the news, and I don't know that it would be an extinction level event, but it would be a big
It will
deal.
cause some significant damage. Let's just say.
Yes, yeah, it would
So
be yeah, that would be a bad thing. So hopefully we will. So one of the objectives is to study these things and see if we can understand, what we can do to mitigate that kind of
right.
risk. So
So what are they? What are the scientists hoping to find in their
well,
in the
this is going
samples?
to be essentially a frozen sample. It's something that's been in cold storage for something on the order of 4 billion years, we think. And we've never, we have lots of it's probably of the same nature as as meteors that come to the Earth. And so we know a lot about those. One of the things that I've been curious about is the fact that, meteors don't really seem to have the range of variety. They're not as they seem to be grouped into three different types, which correspond to the three different kinds of asteroids, which makes me think that most meteors are asteroids. But it's a little bit strange, because we're not really seeing, among the asteroids, we're not really seeing the variety of things that we see ordinarily in the solar system. And so that's a little bit of a mystery. So on the other hand, we haven't really sampled things that much, and so that's where we are on that.
Speaking of which, I might as well ask you at this point: what other asteroid return missions have gone before
So
this?
the European Space Agency, and
Hmm.
I don't remember the dates for this, but this was I think before 2010. We had a mission called the Rosetta, and that was the European Space Agency, and they rendezvoused with an asteroid and brought some material back. The Japanese have also had two missions.
Hmm.
They've I would say they have like limited success. I think that the samples that they were bringing back were quite small. I have not seen what the research is that has come out of these yet, so that's still something that's kind of ongoing. I haven't heard of any new observations that change our impressions about the origins of the uh, of the solar system. One of the criticisms I have about news coverage is that, and well, you know, also people's interest in this is all about, wow, they're bringing a sample back. There's a parachute coming down, and look, the guys are approaching it, and they're picking it up, and they're taking it to Houston, and you can see coverage. You can see their live um, sample return cam, but they don't talk about this kind of thing very much. Meaning, they don't.
Are you
They're,
saying they just talk about? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
they just talk about the technical aspects of it, and then there doesn't seem to be that much interest in the science that's coming
Oh,
out
I
of
see what
this.
you mean.
And
Like
I
they
I
say
actually,
something. Yeah.
yeah,
Go
and
on. Mhm.
and preparing for tonight, I kind of spent some time trying to find out what they were going to achieve, what kind of laboratory they have, and I know that the University of Arizona, there's a something called Lunar and Planetary uh, Laboratory at the University of Arizona, and that's like a big space physics, aerospace. Not aerospace, but space physics department there, astronomy and aerospace, aero, astro, astronomy and physics department at University of Arizona, and they're they have the principal investigator there is running the show, and so that's where it's going to end up, or some of the samples. So depending upon how much material they get, they're going to be sending it out to laboratories all over the world, perhaps, and then they will curate, meaning they will preserve the samples in Houston at the Johnson Space Flight Center at NASA. So we think that it's kind of like a time capsule, because we think the solar system was formed about 4.5 billion years ago, and we think that this object is left over. In other words, it was not collected by any of the
Right. Because like a planet like us, like Earth, it's everything. There's nothing here that's like that old that we can easily
That's right, because
retrieve.
on Earth, and so
Right.
what they hope to find, they I don't know. So
I mean, yeah, definitely. You could. So that I don't know. Have there any been pictures out yet of what the samples
no,
actually look
no,
like?
actually, I was just looking at that. Say
Yeah.
October. I think they said
I can
October
show you what
11th.
this is. Can you guess what this is?
Let me see.
Hold on a second. I actually have
October.
to put it on the screen. What is this?
Is this from Rosetta or is this from Hayabusa?
That's from the Japanese one.
Oh, okay.
Hayabusa. So I mean, I
Uh-huh.
imagine we will get something similar. Since,
And so one of the nice things about this is that it'll be pristine.
yeah,
It will not have any contamination. There's no chance of that. Meteors, they lay on the surface of the Earth for a long time, and animals come by and pee on them or whatever, and and they get contaminated in
yeah.
that
So
way.
animals, they don't
Well,
care
or
about
people,
contaminating samples
right?
or people.
Or people. So, and I'm just kind of being silly when I say that, but it's true. I mean, the OSIRIS-REx, the way it approached Bennu was that they lined up the orbit, and so it continued. They sort of hovered over the surface, and it had a kind of proboscis that came down and touched the surface. So they kind of bumped into the surface, and then there was very pure nitrogen gas that they blew onto the surface of the asteroid to sort of collect the material and let it, and kind of have it blow back into the device that catches the material, and then it put a lid on it and drew back into the spacecraft, and then they returned to Earth, and then they dropped it off, and it entered the atmosphere and landed in Utah. Two parachutes came down. So that's all pretty exciting kind of stuff.
You remember seeing this video when it first came out about it actually collecting the samples?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Here, let me see if I can play
Right.
it.
Let's play it.
Yeah, do you see that? That's cool, isn't it? Like this was literally this asteroid millions of miles away.
Uh-huh.
It's like,
And this was like about 18 months ago or 2 years ago.
Yeah,
when they did this.
It's like comes down.
Yeah, that's exactly. And so it goes down, and actually, it looks like a big explosion, but really, what it's doing is it's blowing some nitrogen onto the pressurized gas.
Pressurized gas onto it. Huh?
Yeah,
wow. And then that stuff.
Yeah.
Got put into the.
So so another thing that I could say is, it's only collecting the material that's just sort of laying on the surface. So I guess they're hoping that will be representative, but I think maybe if I were designing this, I would want to try to get deeper into the
6 seconds sampling head. That's how I touched it.
Yeah.
So it's just like briefly touched in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's keep track of this mission, and we'll report back later. When October 11th, I think they're going to have a press conference, and they will tell us about what they found, and we'll see.
That's pretty fast.
Well, they're just going to announce, they're going to open the box and look inside, and then they'll have some meetings and they'll talk about it and answer some.
Oh, okay. It's not like they're gonna.
No, it's going to be a preliminary press release thing.
So all that to return this little thing.
Yeah, in Utah on the.
And the actual sample canister is smaller than this.
Yeah.
I'm sure this vessel that had to burn up in our atmosphere, right? I mean, not burn up, but go through our atmosphere.
Well, it has an ablative heat shield that helps.
A52.
We know how to do that.
Yep, which is good. And Utah testing training.
And so I don't know much about this, and we're going to learn some more.
So the actual spacecraft itself is interesting that its mission is not done; it's still going.
That's right.
So, it's headed off to another asteroid. I guess they planned it all out. So let's see. With this, within 70 minutes they wrapped it up for safe transport, temporary clean room on range where it remains under blah blah blah. Okay, so apparently international partnerships includes the OSIRIS-REx laser altimeter instrument from Canadian.
Yeah, there's infrared spectrometer and thermal emission spectrometer.
Yep. And Astro sample science collaboration.
There is an X-ray image spectrometer.
Really? Why do they need that?
Well, they can if you bombard something with X-rays, and the backscatter will tell you things about the composition of the material. So I'm sure that's what that's about. And it photographed and mapped the asteroid surface.
Oh. Yeah. So we have highly detailed maps of Bennu now, right? So
yeah.
Like yeah, actually we do. Apparently, that's pretty remarkable on its own, I think, because from telescopes here on Earth, I know we can observe it, but there's no way we actually can know to that extent of the detail we can see here. So we literally made a map of all this stuff.
So when this mission was launched, there was a lot of interest during the Obama administration in trying to decide how we were going to do future human spaceflight. And so some of the thinking was that we would visit an asteroid, right? So that's part of the impetus for this probe. But that's since been overtaken by efforts to return to the moon. But the asteroid, visiting an asteroid is still on the table someday.
Do you think humans could live on an asteroid?
Well, I'm
just curious.
I don't think that humans can live in interplanetary space.
What?
Really? Without a lot of shielding. Oh. Okay. Yeah, you can live there for maybe 3 months or so. Maybe. Mm-hmm. There are some events that can occur that we did a show about that.
We did. We talked about how difficult it is for
and how dubious I was about the planning. Dubious. It's just not. I mean, you can send people to the moon, right? And they can stay there for a little while, but eventually they're going to die because they're getting radiation exposure that's hundreds of times higher than the limits that are considered healthy over the long run. So
I spent 17 years in black budget programs, government geology.
Is this somebody that's checking up on me? Is he interrupting?
Sorry, I actually just came across something. I want to go into the little next segment.
Well, anyway, so we're going to do something else now?
I always talk about the weird stuff at the end. You know me.
Right. I'm glad I'm not the weird stuff. So
you well, you're weird enough.
Anyway, that's kind of all I know and all I want to say about OSIRIS-REx. And I think that we'll follow up on this and we'll do another show, maybe in a few months, and
There,
see if we can.
I mean, there are already definitely some science articles out there on the discoveries of
Right.
OSIRIS-REx, just from it actually going to an asteroid on its own, in Bennu and understanding it. So both from the engineering perspective, in terms of being able to use the optical navigation techniques, as well as the sample return kind of mechanisms, as well as from the science perspective in looking at the geology of Bennu.
Maybe one of these days. I don't think we ever actually did a show on the structure of the solar system, really, because asteroids are like an essential part of that, and because there's
that's true.
there's an asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. It's kind of like it's in the place where a planet belongs, and the planet never formed, or there was a planet formed and it broke up. And there's a couple of large objects in there. One of them is a dwarf planet called Ceres, and then there's another object that's sort of irregularly shaped called Vesta. Then we have the planets that we know about out to Pluto. Pluto is not really a planet; it's sort of a dwarf planet, and it's one of four. There's 4 dwarf planets. So one of them is Pluto, and then the others are. One of them's called Sedna, and
Sedna, yes,
and
the trans-Neptunian objects, right?
Yes, right. And they're kind of like pulled around by Neptune. Neptune's out there and it's messing with them all the time.
Right.
And I guess you got some traffic, huh?
I do. I'm sitting outside, unfortunately, for better or worse.
And so then there's the Kuiper belt, which is outside that, and there's probably hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of objects in the Kuiper belt. That's where a lot of our comets come from. And then if you go 50 to 1,000 to 100,000 astronomical units out, you get to the Oort cloud, which is this hypothetical region where. And so the way that formed has something to do with how the solar system came together. Everything got stirred up. Some things were thrown out to the Oort cloud. Other things were swept out. And so actually I'm doing the show now on the structure of the solar system. And then we have exoplanets that do the same thing. So anyway, let's do a show on that someday.
Let's do a show on that next week if you want to. Talk about the structure of our solar system. Why not? So, yeah. I was going to point out that there's actually been some rather interesting science articles on the Bennu stuff, and some of it's things that I didn't even know would be talked about. Like, for instance, this is talking about how the asteroid Bennu, they're using some data to figure out these, fifth forces and ultralight dark matter, which I have no idea what that is, but that's definitely something interesting out there. Probably some theoretical explanations of I don't know what.
I don't know what ultralight dark. I don't know.
For what type fifth forces, dark photons and baryon coupled scalars demonstrate the potential of asteroid tracking and probing well-motivated extensions of the standard model. So this is going like. I just find it kind of crazy. Like these guys are doing fundamental physics and they're using these asteroids.
I'm not going to say that they're doing fundamental physics.
Or speculating.
Or so. I don't know. I don't recognize any of those names. So I don't know. But
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if you look up stuff, there's a wide variety out there. But now I want to talk about something else.
Okay. That's what I'm here for.
So, so that guy that interrupted you, he was some conspiracy theorist talking about some, you're probably going to say he's nutty, but I'm going to play
I never say people are nutty, okay? I never say that.
Okay.
I usually just say I don't know. Okay. So that's
I
probably
spent
what I'm
17 years in black budget programs, government geologist, as engineer, structural engineer with aerospace applications, self-taught metallurgist, became kind of famous in my own right.
Indeed.
I basically would have a set of notes here, but they're unavailable. all this melee. Up here I have different artifacts explaining some of them are alien metals that have been produced both on this planet and the confines of outer space that are now used in all stealth aircraft. All stealth aircraft, for instance, all black jets, what you're seeing of black helicopters and the like, the skins and the coatings and the residues that are used predominantly in the aircraft themselves, in the airframes and the rotor blades and the fans, and in some cases in submarines, special titanium hulls in the Phoenix class submarines now. All this has come from alien technology. 1947 is what the public has been told. Something crashed in the backyard in New Mexico, a place called Roswell, New Mexico. Unfortunately, that's what the public's been told. The military's known about the alien question for the better part of 70 years, and they first saw their glimpse of what was going on as early as 1909 in the American Southwest.
Oh my God!
Army cavalry evidently were chasing some bandits, and they entered this cave. They were holed up in a cave, and what they found in there was flying discs and little gray guys and all kinds of weird things, and they didn't know how to explain that, and they wrote them down as best they could, and it's been in secret archives ever since.
Okay.
That's up in that's in
how far
down by the Truth and Consequences area of New Mexico.
I don't really have a mute button for him.
The alien thing is more than just what I'd call a non-visible threat. We on the surface.
All right, I'm going to mute this for now, but basically, I think he goes on and talks about there is a base called Dulce Base, and there are claims of 60 American troops that were killed in this battle inside the base. I think, was it 50 years ago or something?
Is that right?
Yeah, something like that. So, so Schneider famously described alleged alien. Yeah, go ahead.
The government, the president of the United States cannot even keep his sex life private. Okay.
Oh my God.
He can't even keep that secret. Okay. So.
You don't think that.
All right. So.
You find it incomprehensible.
I think that I just show me something. And also, if he's privy to all of this secret stuff, all of this dark, secrets that he knows about, how come they haven't come and come down in the middle of the night, put a burlap bag over his head and carry him off?
Hey, look at this. He died in 1996, and his death was determined as suicide. Right?
Oh, okay.
So Schneider famously described the alleged alien encounter in 1995 conference, which was what I was partly playing, right? Where he claimed around 60 United States military service members was killed in battle with alien beings. The supposed engineer also claimed he lost several fingers in the alien attack, and the government was using Dulce Base, D-U-L-C-E base, initially as an effort to stimulate subterranean gas reservoirs. He also argued that materials used in modern government aircraft came from alien technology collected over the years. He died in 1996, and his death was determined as suicide. So, however, even with the stories from Schneider and a state trooper, no hard evidence has emerged from the area to confirm the presence of this base or any alien encounter.
How did I know that? Yeah.
But
I just don't have a good attitude about this. This is not something that I think is. He just was not credible at all to me. It didn't.
He also argued that this is one of at least 129 secret bases across the U.S.
Yeah.
And with a black budget of around $50 to $80 billion per year.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to keep anything like that secret. They just wouldn't be able to do it. It gives them too much. You're giving them too much credit, and you're.
But you know what? What I was thinking is this town actually exists, Dulce, New Mexico. So no, it does exist. It's like you can find it on Google Maps.
Yeah, it's Spanish for sweet.
Yeah. So if you wish, I guess, for anybody who really wants to investigate, you can go out there, and I'm sure just look around the town, see if you find anything.
Road trip, except it's going to take us 2 days to get there.
I mean, there's like 1,000. Oh, there's more than 1,000 people. There's like 2,788 people, according to 2020 census.
Well,
Yep.
if there's a Walmart somewhere within 50 miles, then we'll be fine.
Okay, but anyways, yeah, if I ever really get into all this, I would like just go on these massive road trips and like talk to locals and see if they know anything. They're probably, you know, but as far as that guy's witness accounts goes, you know, there you go.
Okay.
So with that said, I found it funny because he tangentially related that he claims to be a well, he's dead now. I mean, it's not like, but he was claiming to be a geologist as well.
Okay. And, self-taught metallurgist.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Now, what was I going to say? Now, for actual geology in terms of our solar system, obviously NASA has been doing a whole lot of missions. Our primary topic today covered OSIRIS-REx, which no doubt will uncover a lot about our early solar system geology, and more data and results are going to come out, in which we can discuss in a later episode.
Yes, I'm enthusiastic about that. That
exactly.
part. Not so enthusiastic about alien technology and Roswell and things like that, because I mean, I often claim to be an alien, so.
I mean, you do, don't you?
And I have conversations with the mothership, and I report on the hominids that inhabit this planet. Of course, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, no. But you do investigate hominids, though.
Well, that's what we are.
I mean, you do. I mean, you wonder about other humans.
I do wonder about humans.
So there you go. I've temporarily given you the title of hominid investigator.
Hominid investigator. Excellent. Okay, I didn't see that.
Yes. Instead of an alien investigator, you know, you're like the reverse. Since you know, like humans are investigating aliens, and what's the reverse? A hominid investigator.
Right.
So, all right. With that said, yes, there you go. Good title. All right, look up, because you never know what you will see. Who knows? I mean, in this case, you know, you could see some asteroids for sure. In fact, one note, you guys are probably seeing like little asteroids every day. If you see shooting stars, so to speak, those are actually
little meteors.
Pieces, little meteors, those rockets, you know, burning up in our atmosphere.
Yeah.
So, and when they land, you know, they become meteorites, and then they get contaminated, and hence why they're not pristine. That's why you have to go to an asteroid itself to go get the pristine samples, like Leonard pointed out earlier. Regardless, we will be back most likely next Tuesday, possibly at an earlier time. Keep you guys posted, and support the show. Patreon.com/SG2 on space. Look up YouTube, SG2 on space. Like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. And
good night.
Namaste. Right.
Good night. Shalom.
That one. That one too.